To the nation, people we spoke with in Eugene were stunned by the assassination attempt. It's the latest instance of political violence in recent memory, but what kind of impact could it have on the upcoming elections in November? KEZI 9 News reporter Julio Mo Rodriguez spoke with a political science professor to find out.
People died that were innocent. They were just there supporting it. It doesn't matter what political side you're on. It's just bad times, and we just have to hope for the best and be positive.
For some Eugene residents, the assassination attempt against the former president came as a shock. Both residents and politicians from across the political spectrum condemned the violence.
But the idea that someone's going to act upon it and try to kill somebody is just a whole new level.
Christopher Stout, a longtime Oregon State associate professor, now with the University of California, San Diego, says the political polarization of society driven by heated rhetoric has allowed for an event like this to happen. He hopes this is a turning point and politics gets away from that sort of talk. But he also says that's easier said than done.
It's hard to get off this path. This path sells, this path gets a lot of attention, and so we'll see if people actually change that. I think if we continue to have really polarized rhetoric, it wouldn't surprise me that we see more attacks like this in the future.
Professor Stout says the upcoming Republican convention will be an important event to watch. He feels up to this point, this election cycle has been unfolding similarly to the 2020 election.
And these events, which usually used to define elections, are now just kind of one of 20 events in an election cycle.
Despite the assassination attempt, Professor Stout doesn't believe that this shooting will have a major electoral impact on the presidential elections this year. However, he does believe that for those who are already strong supporters of the candidates, this will energize their campaigns and make them push for the candidates even harder.
I think we might see temporary effects. Usually after an assassination, you see kind of a rally around the candidate effect where people become more sympathetic to the candidate and they're more supportive of the candidate. But those, like we talked about early on, this hasn't happened relatively recently in a society that's much more polarized. I think people are pretty set in their ways.
Professor Stout says political violence breeds instability that is harmful to a divided nation. Residents I spoke to also have similar sentiments. Nobody wants to relive an event like this again. According to residents, politics should be decided at the voting booth, not by the barrel of a gun.
If you believe in a political system, why not fight for that to work as opposed to taking matters into your own hands?
Reporting in Eugene, Julio Mo Rodriguez, KEZI 9 News.
And